Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a happy couple in love that loves reacting to some Halo.
Ooh, what a classic. We're a happy couple.
Yeah! And so, Halo's got a series coming out on Paramount Plus, and we're not checking that out, but we wanted to check out Halo 3 Believe campaign. You heard it's like a kind of like a documentary style campaign that they did for Halo 3, and we've been told it's really good, so we wanted to check that out, kind of like in celebration of the Halo, Paramount Plus series coming out. Hopefully it's good. So it's Double Trouble Thursday. This is one of 2 reactions we got coming out today. And let's do it.
Let's do it.
Nations have always built monuments to their heroes, tributes that are defense against or conquest of other nations. But the monument here doesn't favor one nation over another. It is the first of its kind to commemorate the enduring survival of a species, our species. More importantly, it commemorates the man who gave the world faith, who gave humanity a future, who made mankind believe again. Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. So it's no surprise that the piece itself is special. Begun 3 years ago in 2607, the monument is a diorama built entirely by hand. It is a three-dimensional snapshot of the battlefield and the soldiers who took to it that day. The scene has been reproduced with painstaking attention to detail and authenticity. Only the men and women who were there know it better. Today, we go behind the scenes to see its creation. To ensure historical accuracy, the boot camp induction scans of every Marine involved in the battle were obtained from the United Nations Space Command records. In this way, the artists were able to place the right face to the right soldier. After each face is completed, it is matched to a body which has been rendered complete with uniform and body armor, then carved by hand. It was the artist's vision for this tribute to humanity that each piece be shaped by the hand of man, without the aid of robotic model-making systems. Each handmade soldier is posed, painted, and placed on the battlefield, both the victorious and the fallen.
It's impressive.
Based on topographical maps of the day, the artists are able to replicate each hill, each plateau, and each ravine to near exact specifications. But one of the real marvels is in the cityscape itself. After fighting had ceased, meta-archaeologists unearthed the city's building archives. In them were found perfectly preserved architectural blueprints of every structure in the city. But the challenge was not to merely rebuild the structures, it was to tear them down as well. Artists worked from the city plans to recreate the destruction caused by the fierce fighting, from each bullet hole to each piece of exposed rebar. Finally, our enemies were also rendered with extraordinary detail. Covenant corpses that had been recovered after the battle provided the models for these fearsome recreations. To complete the picture, authentic Covenant weapons and armor specs were accessed to fully outfit the warriors. Once the Covenant are placed opposite the Marines, a clear image begins to take shape out of the fog of history. We see how we were outnumbered, outgunned, outmatched, and seeing that, we realize the importance of the monument. On that day, half a century ago, our species was pushed to the crumbling edge of extinction. And as we teetered on that precipice, staring down into the abyss, a hand reached out, pulled us back from the brink, and gave us hope. The hand of a hero. Can you tell us what you remember about the battle?
We'd been fighting for a while. On the 7th day, we ran out of ammo. We had to scavenge all we could from the weapons that had been left behind. The pistols, shotgun rounds, a handful of grenades.
Do you remember where you were?
When Master Chief armed his grenade, I was in the back of an overturned warthog firing an M41.
How did you manage to keep it together?
We knew Master Chief was still in the fight. He gave us hope.
I was a sniper, used a standard high-power sniper rifle. At 600 yards, it would go through about 13 feet of flesh and bone.
What about you?
Well, I used a shotgun.
Could you tell us a bit about that one?
This one, sure. We saw a lot of these. This is an old Covenant weapon. It's a spike rifle. We call it the Spiker.
And who used it?
Well, the brutes mostly.
Can you show us how it worked?
Sure.
This is done so well.
They used it as a handgun. It was heavy. Holding an enemy weapon like this feels. I don't like it. If you'd have told me a few years ago we would be here in this place talking about this, I would have said, no way, it's not going to happen. If there's one reason why we're here, I would say it's because of the chief.
Of course it is.
This was made by a plasma rifle.
This is it. Right here. This is the spot. I bet I can remember every one of these trees.
How did your platoon get pinned down here?
We got word the Covenant was out here hunting us, and that Master Chief wouldn't be able to rendezvous with us until dawn, so we had to go dark.
Go dark.
There's no helmet lights, no readouts, nothing that'll give away our positions. Like rabbits down a hole. Invisible.
Do you mind if we turn the lights off?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, sure. It won't totally freak me out.
What happened then?
For 7 hours, we couldn't do anything but be still and listen to them hunting us. All we could do was sit and wait for Master Chief.
How would you want to try to relive that?
For the first time in 43 years, Lieutenant Shah returns to the site of the battle. What is that?
A shell from a sniper rifle.
It's amazing there's still so many remnants out here. Where's Master Chief's grave?
I don't think anyone really knows. There was a ceremony 5 years ago, over there, just as a symbolic gesture. The coffin was empty.
Why was the coffin empty?
No Spartan could be listed as KIA. They could only be listed as MIA, missing. So it could be said, but no Spartan was ever killed in combat. So the ceremony was a tribute more than a burial.
Doesn't look like much.
The chief told me once that no soldier should be honored for doing what is expected.
Do you believe that?
I did, and I still do.
especially the terror on the face. That soldier. Army of Master Chiefs unto themselves.
While he shapes his own history, he in turn shapes the history of all who follow. I like that line.
Yeah. I like that line.
That's a good one too.
Yep. So we had seen the Believe diorama sort of trailer before on a Triple Trailer Tuesday. That was one of the first ones we'd seen, and it's so interesting because so they make the diorama for that trailer, and then they do a documentary about them making it, but it's fictional documentary, but it's still real because they still have to go through that process to make it, but they're just using it. I don't know. It was cool how they did it all, and basically, I don't know, got the most out of this whole thing, and it's a really interesting campaign.
I just thought it was obviously really well done. It's very inspiring the
Yeah.
way that they tell it, and people are shaped by extraordinary times that they live in. We all have lived through many extraordinary times for any of us who are living today, and it's funny because you always think well, what can I do? I'm just one person. But then you see things like this, and Master Chief changed the world. It just takes one to start a movement. So I was just kind of touched by that and loved those lines about heroism at the end, and I thought they were really great.
Also, Master Chief's name is John 1:17, and so I just can't help but think of that as a Bible verse. And so I was wondering if there is anything. If not, I might try to check see what that is. John 1:17. If that means anything, if that was intentional, or if it was just because they could have picked any name for that, and they could have done something that was not as any kind of biblical or reference. They could have put Joe 1:17 or whatever. I think
there were some Joes in the Bible too, babe.
Fine. They could have put Chet.
There you
1:17. Cole, Blaine 1:17. I was curious about that. If if that had any meaning and if that was intentional. And yeah, as watching, you gotta remind yourself okay, this is very touching and emotional. I'm just okay, but this is not real.
None of this actually happened.
None of this actually happened. They're making it really, really believable, and the actors did a really great job.
Actors were great.
Yeah, it was just a lot of times for these, it could have been very melodramatic, a little bit too over the top, but the actors did such a great job of. I just really believed that they had created their backstory for these characters when they went into this, and took their time with the lines and everything, and so I was really impressed by that.
The actors did such a good job that I was sitting here reminding myself that this never actually happened. I did wonder, did they specifically go out and get veterans who were actors to convey this? Because they all of them carried that weight, that gravitas, that made me really believe they'd actually seen combat of some kind.
Yeah, that would probably be smart if they actually got veterans for these parts. That would make a lot of sense.
And I think that would be a great way to give back to the veterans who are in the industry. So
yeah, for sure.
I hope they did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did, but I hope they did now.
I hope they did as well. Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments, and more suggestions for Halo videos to check out. It's been a while since we've done Halo, but we got a Halo playlist down below in the description of this video with all of our Halo reactions, so you should go ahead and check that out. We will eventually play some Halo on this channel. I mean, it's a couch co-op game, so we do want to get to it. It's just kind of one of those things, like once we start, you know, it's going to be a while because there's so many games in the franchise to get to. We got a big gaming list. So thanks so much for checking out our reaction with the Halo 3 Believe campaign, all the interviews for that. Just keep in mind that our reaction
is definitely not definitive.